Hello and welcome back, my friends. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. It's time for our monthly Masterboard challenge, the beginning of a new month. Like, where is this year going? So, for today's Masterboard challenge, firstly, a little bit of info to set us up on the right path. Today, we are working with your tiniest scraps because I don't know about you, but mine are kind of out of control. It happens so easily. Maybe you're not quite so ridiculous as I am with the size of scraps that you keep. So, you know, you do you. If you don't keep as smaller scraps as what I do, then just do whatever smaller scraps you have. This is my little scrap bin that I keep on my desk. As you can see, it's like you can't even see the bin under the paper. It's ridiculous. I have a bottle that sits on top, but I've had to put it aside because like it just won't sit on top anymore. And then if we need anything else, I've got kind of the next size up scraps. I went through my bag and pulled out things that one should have been in this bottle to start with, and two were just a slightly bigger in case we run out of options. I think we're going to be pretty safe though with options, so that's what I'm working with. So you need your smallest scraps. If you don't have tiny scraps, just grab your smaller scraps and tear them up even tinier. So that's that. Now the substrate I want to talk about as well. I'm using a map here. It happens to be a French map. You want to be using something that is decorative or interesting on the reverse side. So whichever side I collage on, it doesn't really matter. I don't have a preference one way or the other. The other side needs to be interesting because we're not going to be using this as writing paper. Okay, so the project that I'll be making for next week's video, for the follow-up video on how to use a masterboard, we won't be using this for writing. So make it something decorative or put it on to whatever you've got and then back it with something decorative. But I would suggest save yourself a step and grab out a piece of scrapbook paper or a digital or a map or a book page, anything that's interesting that you don't mind having on show for your finished ephemera. Okay, so that's basically the information. So our theme really is for this masterboard is itty bits of scraps. So using up our stash is going to be very helpful for this. And our technique is inking. Now I know not everybody inks and that's okay, but for this challenge, I challenge you to grab out some ink. Now you don't need to use a brush. You can use whatever ink you like, whatever tool you like, even if you just grab the ink pad and run it over the edge of your scraps. That works perfectly fine. I would suggest that you choose a colour of ink if you have it available. If you've only got one colour, just use that, it's fine. But if you have options, choose something that is going to go with everything. So I'm going to go with my trusty vintage photo because I use it everywhere anyway. The style of this masterboard is going to be like no colour theme, no cohesiveness in terms of colour or style. It's just going to be like a free-for-all, whatever scraps, lay it down. And the cohesive factor to this masterboard is going to be the inking. Okay, so it's quite important for this particular. And you know, it's only one masterboard. If you never do this technique again, doesn't matter. But I challenge you, if you haven't done it, and if it's not normally your thing, give it a go. Just one masterboard. If you don't want to do a whole masterboard, well, you can stop halfway through, like just do a small masterboard. You know, I won't bite you. I promise. I promise I won't bite you. So I am just going to grab a scrap and I'm going to start with a straight one and we're going to ink around every single piece. Yep, you heard me. Every single piece we are going to ink around. So it is time consuming. I'll give you that. But you know, put on a movie or your favorite YouTube or whatever floats your boat, your latest TV series that you're binge watching, and just relax into it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Just focus on, you know, something fun on TV or listen to an audiobook, you know, whatever relaxes you. Maybe you want to take it outside and do it in the sunshine. As long as it's not windy, because you might get a little bit frustrated by pieces blowing away if it's windy. So just relax into it. Just enjoy the process of dealing with your tiny scraps and just start laying them down. So I'm going to try and not edit what I pick up. I'm just going to try and go with it. I will be changing the shape on some of them because there's some really weird shape scraps that I've got. like things that have been cut out or punched out of them. But where I don't have to do that, I'm just going to go for it. Just grab ink, oops, gouge out my glue stick. Oh, good grief. Had to take half your glue stick. Like, look at that big clump on one tiny wee scrap of paper. And just start building. You can overlap. Just have fun. Please, please, if nothing else, have a bit of fun with it. So how are you all, my friends? Have you had a good week? I hope it's been a good... Oh, that was a good side too. But I've done the yellow side, so we're going to stick with that, because otherwise I'm going to have to ink it twice, and you might all shoot me. I'm sure you wouldn't, but, you know, let's not waste time by me changing my mind unnecessarily, because the yellow side is fine. Right, let's get something a bit... See, this is a bit big, so I'm just going to tear it in half. That's wrapping paper, so I've got all sorts of paper. Magazine paper, wrapping paper, digitals, scrapbook paper, and painty papers. Anything goes. Really, I'm not worried about thickness per se, although I did leave out the cardstocky pieces. I didn't include those. And it's just going to be very eclectic and random, which I think's fun. I do enjoy the torn edges for picking up the ink. It does show up the ink a lot better. So you may want to tear your edges, but where mine are already kind of cut, I'm just leaving them cut because I don't want this to take forever when I'm doing a video on it. If you're doing it and you're not on video, you can, and I can, take as much time as you want, but because I've got the pressure of being on video, I'm just going to go with whatever they are. And if you want to go with whatever they are, then you can do that too, regardless of anything else going on. So I don't want these two bits too close together, so separating them out. Right, here's another straight bit. Straight, it's not straight on the end. It's alright, this is a bit of scrapbook paper. So I'm looking forward to the making project with this masterboard as well. So while I think of that, yes, next week I will be putting out the video on using this masterboard. Normally it would go up on Friday, New Zealand time, but next week it's going to be slightly different. It's going to go up on Thursday on New Zealand time, and that's because I'm in a collaboration and the date for my video for that is Friday. And so I need to reserve Friday for that video for the collaboration, which is super exciting. Stay tuned for that one as well. It's a collaboration with Creating with Jovi, using her Celtic Fantasy digital kit. So I am working on a project for that. I haven't got much time left in which to do it and get the video done, but it will be done. So watch out for that video on Friday. Celtic Fantasy, it's all full of like fairies and forest and a lot of green, as you might expect, and some Celtic symbols. It's really fun. So, oh, and then I turn it over and then there's that fun green on the other side. But again, I've already inked, so too bad. Just pop it down. And I like this sort of wood grain look anyway. Right, this is a little scrap of printable from the beautiful Lydia. I recognise the butterflies. She sent this to me in Happy Mail, a couple of years ago at least now, and I've used bits of it, but I've still got this little bit left. And it's like, it's time it actually found a home, don't you think? And this would be true of many of my scraps. They have been hanging around for quite some time. I would bet there's probably even scraps that are older than this. It's like, really, 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 why do I have such old scraps? Why haven't I used them by now? And the answer is because they get lost at the bottom of my scrap bag. Because this is before I utilised my bin method. So they all went into a bag and the small scraps just drop to the bottom and you never kind of see them again. So when I went through my bag to get out any lost little scraps and my slightly bigger scraps, I found this bit, amongst others. Right, that's fun up the side there. I've deliberately left out any map pieces as well. I didn't include any map in my scraps, although I've got plenty, because I don't want, like, to put map on top of map seems a bit silly to me, so I saved them for another project. Just trimming off the white is all I'm doing there. So what's the weather like at your place today? As I'm recording this on, what day is it? Wednesday, I think. Wednesday today. It is really blah. I've been outside and it is actually warm outside. Went outside to check the mailbox and it was quite surprisingly warm. Here I am in a hoodie and you know, I'm comfortable, but it's not super warm, but outside it's warm. And I came back inside and like a minute, no more than a minute after I came inside, it started raining. It's like, it's so bizarre. But I'm quite pleased that it's mild enough that I'm not feeling uncomfortably cold, because I do not like feeling uncomfortably cold. I don't function well when I'm cold. It's very highly distracting. Right, this is just a random bit. We're not going to use it in its entirety like that. I'm going to just pop that there, I think. This is scrapbook paper, so it's a little bit thicker. Need to concentrate on actually putting enough ink on my brush, because I'm like this all the time into my ink, because I'm not actually thinking about it and not putting enough ink on my brush to actually do much good. I need to think about it and actually put more ink on my brush. Right, that's getting quite sticky, so I'm going to fold it up. I've recently come into a number of Reader's Digest condensed books, so I have, oh, how many would I have? Maybe 8 to 10 new ones on top of what I already had. And so I'm not going to be precious about my pages that I glue on. If I'm annoyed with them, if they're super sticky, I'm not going to bother saving every one to make into journal cards or tags or whatever, because I need to use them, and I'm never going to use that many Reader's Digests if I'm, you know, saving all the pages all the time. Right, let's put a bit up there. See how the torn edge picks up? I hope you can see that ink. Now, if you find working small really annoying, too time consuming or frustrating, then don't go too small. Just go whatever you're comfortable with. But go small enough that you get this build-up of the ink effect. Otherwise, the inking's not really going to have as big a effect on the overall. If you can kind of grasp what I'm meaning. Okay, we've got the scrap here, so let's find it a home. Just want to tear a bit more of that white off. There's just a little bit too much white. So there we go. So just minimal editing that I'm doing. Not doing a lot. It's where it makes sense to me to actually, it needs to be edited. So it's when this video goes up in a week's time, I will be leaving on holiday with hubby. So I have yet to record any videos ahead. So if there are gaps in my videos, just please forgive that. I don't know whether I'm going to get all the days that we're away covered. At this point in time, I'm feeling a little bit like it might be in the too hard basket to get that done, because I thought I would have, you know, already done some by now. But I've just been so busy, I haven't had a chance to. And when I haven't been really busy, I've just been half dead from tiredness because I've been so busy and just didn't have the energy to turn around and do a video to cover the time we're away. So I'm still hoping to get at least some done. I would still like to get all done, but just be aware it may not be possible. I'm not Wonder Woman, unfortunately. I can only stretch so far. Let's just put that bit there. So yeah, just a little warning that there may be gaps, and if there are, I do apologise, but maybe it's a good time to go back and watch a video you haven't seen, an older video. Just don't go back right to the beginning, because, you know, those videos are really not that great. As most YouTubers would say of their first videos, you know, most of their first videos, they're the testing ground. They're sorting out your lighting, what looks good, what angle, your setup, your equipment, talking, you know, talking naturally comes with time. And so most YouTubers, I just want to get rid of this funky edge. This is a bit of a jelly print, which is really pretty. I love this jelly print. It's got metallic paint in there, which is fun. I think I'm just going to pop that on the angle. Yeah, so my first ones are pretty much in that category of not great. I mean, they're not horrible, but they're certainly not comparable to my videos of today. At least I don't think so anyway. I think I've improved. I would hope that people would agree that I've improved. Okay, it's nice to grow through this journey. I don't even know if you can see me gluing off to the side here. I do apologise for that as well, if I've been busy gluing here and you can't even see what I'm doing, but it is just glue on paper. Nothing super spectacular going on. I love that raggedy edge. That's so fun. Got a little funky L shape here of this pink. Oh gosh, sorry, busy yawning away. I think I actually need a drink, and I didn't make myself one before I put the camera on. I was distracted because I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and then as I was putting it down, there was a phone call coming through, and I very rarely get phone calls. So I didn't take the call, but then after it finished, it was like, I was really curious. It was like, who was calling me? Because the number didn't come up with a name. And it was like, who is it? Is it the doctor's office ringing to give me some feedback about my last blood tests that I had last week? Or although that number would have, I'm sure, come up with the name because it is programmed on my phone. So anyway, so they left a voice message, so I had to then go into my voicemail, and I don't know what it is, but every now and then my voicemail tells me that I've never used it before, which is utterly insane. I don't understand. And every time it does that, I've got to go through the palaver of doing the greeting, you know, recording the greeting. And you never do it in one take. Well, I can't. It took me, I think, 6 takes to do my greeting, to reset up my voicemail. And then I had an older message there that I knew basically what it was, so I'd never bothered listening to it because it had said I needed to set up my voicemail, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I had to get through that one first and deleted that one. And then I got to the one that was just left, and it was my father-in-law. So obviously his number is not programmed in my phone, which is quite weird. Maybe it happened when I changed phones that his number got missed somehow. And it was exactly what I thought would be the case. It was just that I'd left, when we visited at the weekend, I left my sunglasses up on their table, and they were dropping them off today. And when I went out to the letterbox, they weren't in there, and it was like, they must have forgotten. So when the phone call came through, part of my mind was going, it's probably them saying that they forgot, or that they've just done it on their way home. And sure enough, they'd just popped them in the letterbox on their way home. So I'll need to take another little trip out to the letterbox, get them out of the letterbox. So it was like all this information that you don't really need to know. But I was just distracted because I was just too curious. I couldn't leave it alone and do it later. It's like, no, I've got to check what this is about, you know, in case it's something super urgent. You know, somebody ringing me to tell me, heaven forbid, that mum's in hospital or something. You know, she hasn't been able to ring me herself, or, you know, all these things go through your head, don't they, when you get an unexpected call from a number that you don't recognise. And the really annoying ones are the ones where you answer, or you grab that voicemail message and find out it's just some sort of spam or marketing person, you know, wanting you to buy advertising or something weird. They're the really super annoying ones. But I can't say I've had one of those recently or any time lately. Where do I want to put this strip? Maybe let's just randomly put it right in the middle. Because why not? That's a bit of painty paper, inky paper that I've sprayed. Now this is a bit of scrapbook paper. It's had a scallop circle punched out. I don't want to use it like that, so I'm going to tear the cut part out. And I'm going to be ruthless, and that's going in the bin because, you know, enough's enough. Enough. Don't be ridiculous, woman. It's no use. Throw it out. It's pretty. Yes. Can I use it somewhere? Probably. But do I want to use it somewhere? And that's where I'm going. I can't be bothered. No. Throw it out. Right. So I think I'll pop this one. Or do I want to pop this up here? Actually, I quite like that there. And this bit I am going to use tacky glue because it is quite a bit thicker and stiffer. And I think I just want to... the precaution of the tacky glue from it coming adrift from my masterboard. Such pretty paper. Come on, get on there. Just holding that in place so it sticks down nicely. Right, and we've got this bit as well. Just want to tear off that edge. Something like that. Yep. So I am still thinking about placement, where things make me happy, where things kind of fit and don't leave me too many gaps that I've then got to plug. But I am playing fast and loose, whoops, tacky glue again, with kind of like working all over the place. Because it's just fun. Shouldn't be too serious. So I was really, really excited to see so many people participating in last month's Masterboard challenge. It was so awesome to see all your different takes on the challenge. Super fun. Love it. So hopefully more and more people will join in as we go along because it's so much fun. And who doesn't love a good Masterboard? Now this is scrapbook paper, but it's a light scrapbook paper. No, I don't like it there. Maybe we'll just pop it up there. I am getting a bit more picky about where I'm placing things, aren't I? And it does get to that point with most Masterboards in my experience. You start out strong and then you start sort of thinking a bit more about where you want to place things. So this one can be glue stick. Throw that page out. Woohoo, we've thrown out 2 glue pages so far. Tell you, I'm getting ruthless in my old age. Right. I like overlapping too. I think that's just fun. So you might think, what's the point of inking right around if you overlap? Well, you don't know where it's going to end up overlapping. So you just ink right around and then you're good to go. It doesn't matter if it's covered over. But if it shows then and you haven't inked it, well, it's going to be actually going to be obvious. This is a little scrap of digital. I'm not going to tell you what all the different papers are, but just if I happen to not have anything else to say, then why not give you the little bit of information. But more to demonstrate that I'm not worried about the weights of the paper so much for this project. I wouldn't go anything super, super heavy, but, you know, a bit of scrapbook paper that's on the heavier side, I think is fine. Right, so we've almost done our full perimeter. We've just got this bit here. Got a funky little point there. I'm not sure that I want that. Let's pop that bit there. Put my scissors away because I'm not using them very much. Now, if you don't have any ink at all, then you could outline them with some pen or, you know, anything of that sort, a marker, paint on your finger, run it along the edge. You know, there's options, there's always options. If you don't want to ink or colour them in any fashion whatsoever, then I'm not going to discount you from the challenge. You can still do it. You just do you. But I do challenge you, give it a go. You might be surprised, or it might confirm that it's not your thing, that you don't like inking, and that is perfectly fine. This is a little bit heavier as well, so I'm going to use my tacky glue. Say, like a little poster thing out of a flow book. Or flow magazine, actually. Flow magazine, not a book. So just a little bit heavier. Don't want to get too strippy. Like there's a bit of strippiness happening here. I don't want to get it too much like that. I think we'll just pop that there. I have a feeling that I'm going to have way more scraps left in my bin than what I hoped. I might have to do multiple masterboards. Maybe I'll take it with me on holiday and sit and do some scrappy masterboards, because I really need to take control of my bin and empty it out so I can start again, and my container that sits in the top of it doesn't keep falling over anymore. It's a yogurt bottle that sits in top, you know, a big one, same size as my rubbish bottle that I use, that holds all my Posca pens and a few fine liners. Put the raggedy edge that way round. Right, little scrap of painty paper. I probably will start tearing off some of the straight edges, because I do like the ink on the torn edge better. Now that we're sort of working more into the middle, I think where I can, I'm going to tear off those straight edges. Sorry, way off to the side there. That actually might fit there nicely, and it does. Lid back on my tacky glue before I have an issue with it. Here's a little scrap. This is too small to tear off the sides, so I'm just going to go with that. There's a wee gap there. Let's plug that gap there. This is a wee scrap of one of my digitals from Sweet Moments. I can tell by the faux stitching there, hand-drawn stitching line that features on that digital. It's quite fun when you recognise your own. That way round, so that angled just creates a bit of interest there, angled edge. Here's another scrap of one of my digitals. Actually, no, it's not digital. I have digitized it, but I don't think I've put it out as a kit. There is a fold line along the side, so I'm going to tear off the fold line. And my rubbish bottle over. And that just leaves us with one straight line, which will probably get covered over when we layer up, so that's okay. Goodness, I'm starting to feel hungry, and no wonder, it is my afternoon snack time. I normally have my afternoon snack around about 3:45, and it is just 3 minutes to 4, so no wonder I'm feeling hungry. That, and I haven't had a drink since after lunch, so probably getting a bit dehydrated on it as well. Not majorly, just a little smidge. Need a drink and I need my snack, but we're going to keep going and finish this masterboard. So this is a thick bit of, not super thick, but again it's scrapbook, more cardstocky, maybe up there. I don't think I want that where it changes colour. It's kind of, it's okay, but it's not super exciting. Now, do I want this coloured side, or do I want this yellow side? Maybe we'll go this side, because we've went with the yellow side with that one, which was a entirely different bit of paper, but we lost the pretty pattern on the other side of that. So let's go with the pattern side here. Oh, now all I can think of is how hungry I am. How silly is that? I need to distract myself, so I stop thinking about it. I'm just wondering if I've got my drink bottle nearby. Let's put that way around, so those cool edges are going to be preserved on 2 sides anyway. Okay, motor it, girl, so you can go have your snack. So this has got a little bit of white down the side, and it's got quite a bit of like white sky. So I'm going to tear that off because I don't want white really on my masterboard. So I'm going to bin that. And we've got room to tear this side down, so I'm going to do that. And do I want to make that smaller? No, I think I'm just going to use that as is. It's not that big. Might be a little bit bigger compared to some other pieces, but it's not that big. Ink isn't showing up a lot on some of the darker areas, but that's all right. Oh, there's a Michelangelo death mask in the Louvre. Okay. Good thing I didn't check, because I wouldn't have used that image anywhere, I don't think. No big loss to end up in the bin. A lot of the images in Reader's Digests I love and keep, but that one I wouldn't bother. Not one I think I'd really use anytime soon. Right, we've got another bit of this painty paper that we used over there, and it's got edges that have been torn with a ruler on 2 sides, and then just 2 cut sides. So we'll just tear off the cut sides. Put that there. That's on the opposite side of the masterboard from the other piece. Lovely texture on this piece. Quite enjoy the feel. Right. There. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Right, this quite fun little bit. This is a bit of magazine, which is fun. Don't like getting too many strips, excuse me, too many strips in sort of a similar fashion, because it starts to take on a certain look, and that's not the look we're going for today. We will be doing one where we do utilise strips, but today's not the day. Today is itty bitty scraps and ink. Oops. Oh, I think I want to tear off that page and keep it. It's got this really cool border, and this one's got this really decorative piece here, so I'm going to keep those 2. The next one's fine. So it's just a little bit of glue on that page with the border before I realised that it had a cool bit on it. Not too much. Okay, we've just got a bit of plain yellow. Now that's quite a big piece of just a straight flat colour, so I'm going to tear that down a little bit. I don't mind areas of plain coloured paper, but just not too big, otherwise it's going to be too dominant and too much of it. That's a nice little gap there to plug. And yellow is a very dominant colour too. There's a thing about gardens, if you've got yellow in your garden, it pulls people's attention, like it stands out, which is, I find interesting. I learned that years ago, and I don't know where I learnt it. It's one of the things to keep in mind if you're landscaping, is that yellow pulls the eye, and so you've got to use that to your advantage by where you and how you place things and the timing of when things flower. So again, probably information you have no care for, but there's probably gardeners amongst you, maybe. Is it something you knew, or yeah. So when I go past a garden, I'm always looking and noticing particularly the yellow, because I know that fact. I've got this little strip here of grid, it's tiny wee grid paper, and I love it, but it's really quite an impractical strip. But I'm still going to put it on. I'm going to break a bit off, And let's see if we can actually give it a home and stop it being so ridiculous in my bin, because it's long and it's floppy and it's just getting damaged. And it was either use it or throw it out, girl. So let's see if we can use it, because I do like it. I think it's quite fun. Now where am I going to put it? Maybe along here. Bit of it there. Probably 3 different pieces, I think, because it was a very long strip. Why I ever kept it in the first place is just ridiculous. I am so ridiculous sometimes. Who's with me? Who's ridiculous in their scraps? I know I'm not alone. Please tell me I'm not alone. Or tell me that yes, I am completely ridiculous and need to get a grip. That's okay too. If that's what you think, that's fine. I'm quite happy to admit that I can be ridiculous with my scraps. And I'm getting really inky and black fingers too. Combination of the ink and the glue and the papers. And some of them are probably dusty. So there's probably a bit of dust on my, now turning into kind of like a mud on my fingers. So I might pause and give my fingers a wee wipe. Right, where do I want this? Let's break up that expanse a little bit of the green. There we go. Let me just give, oh, I better cover my glue. Give my fingers a wee wipe, wee refresh, because I can't imagine that they're very pleasant to look at when they're also grubby. And they certainly don't feel nice. Right, there we go. All good to go again. Right, and I just noticed I haven't taken my afternoon calcium. So I'll need to take that when I finish this video. Right, here's a little square of peachy colour. So again, it's got 2, oops, very rough tearing here. 2 sides that are torn with a ruler, so I'll leave those as is. And 2 cut sides, which I'll remove. Oh, ink first. Ink, don't forget to ink. And the ink adds something to these plain papers as well. So it transforms them into something a little more interesting. And you could use whatever colour you like. As I was saying at the beginning, if you did a navy blue, that would tie in quite well. You could do black for drama. That would be quite interesting. Just going to cover over where all those bits meet, because they're sort of interesting shapes there. Let's just cover that over. Let's tear off this white edge. So navy blue or black would be nice options, I think. Or if you had a lot of scraps that kind of went in a different direction, a certain direction colour-wise, you know, you could get away with something like red. Be quite fun as well. But yeah, because of the eclectic nature, you just want to make sure it kind of works across the board. Across the board, across the masterboard. Oops, gouged out my glue stick again. Goodness. That's how I get my fingers all sticky, or one of the ways. You don't want to put this bit. Turn it around, put it up here. So again, I've got this little bit of strippy thing happening in the middle. Look at this. Like, why? Apart from that, it's a really pretty pink piece of paper. Like, why have I got something that's just of so little use? So I'm just throwing the rest of it in the bin, and we're just going to use this bit. And I'm thinking of popping that there to kind of break up those strips a little bit. Oh gosh, I'm yawning again. Oh, sorry. I promise you're not boring. You're not boring me. Not at all. And I'm not boring myself either. I'm just tired and I need food and drink. I need sustenance. Keep me going. I didn't have a very good night a couple of nights ago, and it always takes me a long time to catch up. And so I think that's also symptomatic of the fact that I just really need a bit of catch up. This is a fun bit of like stone texture from a magazine that I really like. Some of this I turned into faux washi, and then I had some random little strips left that I didn't want to throw out because I really think they're cool. but we're too short really to turn into washi, and I don't want it in that long strip because again it's a bit too strippy. I don't want to end up with lots of strips on this project. Oh, that's getting very sticky. Let's fold that in half. Might get another couple of bits out of it before I bin it. That's so fun. Love that. Let's ink this bit. And I'm not inking super heavy, so you know, you can ink lightly, ink heavily, just depending what you prefer. Doesn't really fit that well there, but it does fit there, kind of. Getting to the nitty gritty. Oh, there, we'll go there, of placement as we narrow the field. Right, that can go in the bin. Check the next page. No, there's no images I want on it, so that's good. This is a little bit of children's book page. It's the front of a boat, but I don't think I want that bit. Don't want it sort of recognisable really. I don't want it this big, so let's just take that. Oh, and that's got a weird cut where I fussy cut something out, so just take that bit off as well. Because obviously you'll get a different look if you go heavier with the ink and really give it a nice solid outline, and that would be cool. But in the interest of time, I'm not taking the time to go super dark. I could use my ground espresso because that's a darker ink, but I kind of, it's not my habit to grab for it. Where do I want to put this piece? I didn't kind of work it out. There, you can go there, piece. And then this little piece with the grass. I don't mind the grass being on there. I just thought that chain to the tying up the boat was just a little bit obvious and like no purpose to it. Where do we want this bit? Maybe up there. So we'll have a tiny wee gap there to fill. But we're almost there. Oh no, we've got this patch over here. I completely did not see that until now. We're not almost there. We've got a little bit to go. You can always fast forward if you don't want to see me build the entire thing. Oops, I've got a bit of glue. Just being a bit careful with that because it's a wet wipe and it's going to smudge the ink around, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Now this is a scrap of this same paper, but I think we can use it over there because I didn't want it too close to these two pieces. But we can use it on the other side since we've got a gap there that we haven't filled yet, which I kind of just wasn't seeing it. It was weird. I just wasn't seeing it. I guess because the map, you know, often I'll use bits of map in my collaging, and so it was map and it's like, yeah, that's done. No, it's not. The map is your substrate today. Clump of glue on my glue page there. So let's pop that in there. Right, I've already got some bits of this and I would prefer to put that along an edge, so I'm actually going to edit that out of my selection for now. This is a digital, an old one now from Antique Papery, I think. This is one that I've had, a digital I've had for years, back when I first bought some digitals, very long time ago. Let's pop that in there because yep, that fills that right across there. So I hope you're inspired to dig into your scrap bins or your scrap bags or your scrap boxes or however you keep your scraps, or the top of your desk even. Because I'm guessing some people, that's where you keep your scraps. They just kind of accumulate until you either sweep them into the bin or have a session of collage and take care of them, or or make clusters, or whatever you like to do with your scraps. Let's pop that in there, and then we've just got this little bit here. So this is another bit of that inky paper. And pop in that gap there. It's got a straight edge, but I'm not going to tear it because I think I'd end up losing most of it. It's very fragile paper. It's very thin paper, so I'm being gentle when I ink it, so it's not getting a lot of ink on it. But I don't want to end up just ripping it and tearing it all over the show, because I'd end up with nothing left to use. Right, that there, we've got a piece over here we could put in. I'm going to take that right across to there actually. I love laying things over each other and breaking up bits underneath by putting a strip over top or beside, you know what I'm trying to say? Building up that look, layered look. It's fun. A good way to break up areas that you think, oh, there's a little bit much of such and such, whatever that might be. We've got a whole corner there we haven't even covered. My goodness. My eyes are just not on the ball today. So let's put this actually down. Should we put this down the edge? No, we'll put it where we were going to. And then maybe I'll grab the other strip that I said I wasn't going to use because we didn't have any straight bits left. And we'll use it. Yeah, so this bit that I was talking about, we can use at least some of it along this edge. So that's fine. It's going to get used after all, instead of staying around, hanging around my bin, or making it to the rubbish puddle if I am so callous and ruthless. I do love using the card to smooth things down. It just saves a few gluey issues as well. So we might use this scrap to pop along there and finish that last little bit of the edge that we've got. I'm just scanning around the rest of them now. It's like, are the rest of the edges all done? And I do believe they are. Oh, we didn't ink. Oh no. Oh no. I'm getting such gluey fingers here. Oops. Too carried away. It's kind of inked. And my fingers are gluey and inky, and let's just give them another wipe. Right, I ended up with this little scrap that's going in the bin. Like, that's small enough, that's, ridiculous enough that even I am going to just bin it. Right, here's this tortured little scrap here that's getting so bent up and wrinkled. And that little bit I'm going to tear off because I don't want to deal with it. Let's go there with this piece. Get it down so it's going to no longer get all bent out of shape and distressed. Poor bit of paper. Lovely bit of paper, but it's been hanging around my bin obviously far too long to get in that sort of state. It's in digital from what's the name of the shop? My goodness, I haven't bought anything from them for ages, but they do have quite some really nice background and collage type digitals. Can't think of the name of the shop. Okay, here's a picture. Doesn't look that attractive, so I'm going to glue over top of it. Let's put a bit of this over the other side, over here somewhere. Let's go about there. I don't know how long we've been filming for. It's been quite a while. As I said, it is a little more time consuming, this project. So even if you did it in stints, like, just spent 5 minutes in the evening to do a bit, you don't have to do it all at once. Nothing to say that you have to do it all at once. So if doing this all at once would drive you spear, don't. Just do it a little bit here and there. Oh, that's not quite going to fill that gap, unfortunately. So let's put it there. I don't mind turning things sideways or angling it to fit a spot. I think it's looking really cool. What do you guys reckon? If you're still here, are you hanging in with me? I can hear you breathing, so there's someone out there. Someone alive and well and kicking. Right, that's that. Okay, let's put another bit of this pink in. Again, it's had bits punched out of it. So I'm just going to tear it down to remove those harsh lines. Bin those bits. You might have to end up going with a couple of different bits to do this piece, to cover this gap, because it's a funky shape. I do enjoy the funky shapes. I find it fun to, it's like a jigsaw. It's like finding a bit that fills the gap. That's a bit fun. We want to put this little, we could put this wee scrap down there. Oh gosh, this has gone way longer than I anticipated. So I think what I'm going to do is speed it up slightly to make it a bit shorter, because I want to finish it, and I want you to see the process, but I don't want you to be like sitting there for 3 hours while I rub it on. So I'm going to speed it up enough that you can still understand what I'm saying, but that it shortens the overall time of the video. So if you are listening to it, have been listening to it and thinking, gee, she's talking a bit weird today, that will be the reason why. Okay, so hopefully that's all good. I did try that with a video, was it last week, and then ended up uploading the one that wasn't sped up, and it was only like 1 hour and 1 minute, so I wasn't too worried about it, but it was like, how did I manage to upload the wrong version? All too easy, I think. Let's pop that one there. So I'll try not to say anything of too much consequence in case you find it hard to understand me once it's sped up, but it's too late now for the rest of the video. It will just be, you know, I'll try not to make it too chipmunk-like you're listening to a chipmunk. Won't speed it up that much. Doesn't take much speeding up to shorten a video without making it sound ridiculous. This is a magazine piece of paper that I absolutely love. It's like a graffiti wall. Was it an advertisement? I think it might have been an advertisement. Got a few little scraps of it left. That's very cool. Where's up there? I'm trying to hurry now. I can feel I'm trying to hurry, because I don't want to have to speed up the video too much to make it a bearable length for you guys. I don't very often speed up a video. In fact, successfully, apart from the one that I didn't end up uploading, sorry, I've only ever sped up one, and I can't remember why I did it, but there was a reason, obviously, why I did it. But yeah, because it's just editing time, so it's, you know, more time that I've got to spend to do that, which is okay. Just might pop that little bit there. Just love all the different blues and the texture of the brick wall behind the paint, and then the paint. Super fun. Love bits like this out of magazines that are really interesting. Now, where was I going to put it? Up here. That's right. I lost my place. Trying to hurry, and then I go and lose the place I was going to put the piece. Right, another scrap of digital. I'm going to take off that point because it's a bit pointless. Haha, did you see what I did there? It's a bit pointless. Well, it is now because I tore it off. I'm so funny. Not really, but you know, I amuse myself. If no one else, I amuse myself. Can we get away with that there? Yes, we can. Perfect fit, pretty much. It is okay to laugh at your own jokes, isn't it? Do tell me that you can, you know, that it's okay to laugh at your own jokes. I hope it is. I'm sure it is. Just between friends, you know, between you and I. It's all good. Right, changing out my glue page again. Got a tiny wee gap here. So do we have a tiny wee scrap of something? What about this strip? Take off the white, take off the cut ends, and then do I want to take off that, just that straight edge? Yes, I am ridiculous. I know. I fully admit it. Right, and just a tiny wee piece. And let's face it, that's why we keep these tiny pieces, because we know there's always going to be a little gap that we'll need something to fill. But the truth of it is that we can always make a tiny wee scrap to fill a gap if we need to. Like, we don't have to hold on to all the tiny pieces for that one day that we need it. I'm trying to preach to myself here. Like, honestly, girl, you don't need to hold on to these stupid wee scraps. Let them go. Because I'm just not good enough about using them. I would like to be, but I just, you know, it always seems much easier to go for a big piece and then cut it down and make more tiny wee scraps. Right, there's also a little gap over here, and that's a good size for that. So let's put this little bit there. So we used the whole strip, which is pretty cool. Overlapping in all sorts of directions here, which is fun. Okay, so we've actually got a little gap there where I missed. We've got this gap here and this gap here. We are almost there, people. Honestly, we are closing down to the finish line. So hang in there. You've been champions. Okay, let's see if we can get enough out of this scrap to fill those gaps. So it's just a tiny little bit here that I want to cover, because it's like a hole. It becomes obvious when there's just a thinner layer. So let's fill that first, otherwise I'll probably forget. There we go, fun little scrap. No, we're not going to get enough to do both, so just do this bit here. So I've gone for a bigger piece, as you probably noticed, because, you know, this video is already long enough. And I'm super hungry and really, really thirsty. It's 4:30. So we have been here an age. Oops, don't put it over so far. I don't want to cover over all that purple piece. Right, so this bit, throwing it in the bin. Well, actually tried to, but it missed. It will go in the bin. This is a strip, but it's straight. I'm going to bin it. It's cool, but I'm binning it. This is a bit with text on it. Again, going to bin it. I'm being ruthless. Right, how about this bit? I think it's not going to be wide enough once I tear off the straight. This bit's going to do the trick. And it's been torn with a ruler on those two sides, so that's the only side that was cut. And about there. And I think I do want to narrow it down a little bit. Just a little bit wide. Yep, there. And that, I believe, is the last place we need to fill. Last piece. That's exciting. It is exciting. So it definitely takes way longer when you're inking. And I don't, you know, to be perfectly frank, I don't often ink around the pieces when I'm collaging. But I think it's a really fun technique to try and, you know, have a different effect. Last piece down. We are done. And look at the spin, how full it still is. Like, ridiculous. I might need to do some editing in there and just throw some pieces out and go, enough's enough. But there we go. There's my masterboard with the inky edges. How fun is that? I'm really happy with the result. And we've got our interesting back here with our map in French, which makes it just a little bit more fun. Oui, oui? Yeah, I don't know French, but I believe that's French. Anyway, I've rabbited on. Let's cut to the close and call it done. So stay tuned for next week on Thursday, remember, instead of Friday, where we use this masterboard to make some stuff with. I'll see you back. What's today? This goes for Friday. Tomorrow, Marguerite Miller Day. So collage day tomorrow. If you don't like collage, then I'll see you Monday for the Deal It Up Challenge. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Love you all. Bye.